Good evening, folks. Welcome to Scale, Model, and Chill. And as what
Or
Jim
smack.
suggested, we're going to call it Smack.
Talking smack. We're talking smack.
We're going to talk smack tonight. We're going to talk smack. Jim, legend. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all well. I just want to welcome the panel. Jim, we've got Brett, we've got John, we've got Barry, we've got Zinzan, we've got Simon, we've got Luke, and we've got Joffy as well. Just a quick announcement. I've been a bit under the weather, a little bit low. I'm gonna have a couple of weeks off. All right. There's a couple of videos that I will probably put out, which they're at the final stages of editing. So there will be a video, but there won't be premiere. They'll just go out. I'm not going to be there in the premiere. I'm going to spend the next couple of weeks just refocusing myself in this whole arena. There's a lot to do here in this room. I need to change, obviously. Well, I don't need to change. I want to change, I am putting a lot of my stash on Vinted, and there will be a link below where my Vinted shop is. If you want to buy any of my FX models or bits and pieces that I'm now putting up on there, you're quite welcome to purchase them and use them. I need to draw a line in the sand and all of this. I've said I go where I'm loved, and already the outpouring that I've received has been amazing. Some really good chats with people and stuff, but there'll be no smack next Monday. And I won't guarantee there'll be one in the following Monday. It depends how I feel. Let me reset, and then let me focus. And as I said, I know people say, "Oh, this channel's about Airfix," and I understand all that. Actually, the channel has always been about scale modeling and getting people into this hobby that we all love. And there was a top end of interest, but that came from my childhood upbringing and my collections, and ultimately my good relationships with the great people that were at Airfix. And there are some that are still there. So there will be videos where I do reviews on kits that get released, especially new tools. But so at the end of the day, let me get away a couple of weeks. I talked to Luke today, bless him. Listened to it yesterday, talking shit with me and trying to, and I feel that I just have a break from it all, and let's move on. Scale modeling is such a wonderful hobby, and when I get to the point where when I sit on a bench and I look there an hour or something and not do any modeling per se, I need to just do a reset really, and let me just and let me find my way. But saying that, there's loads of channels out there that need your support. Little History, Matt's Model Minutes, Black Rifle, Nigel's work. There's loads of content out there. You don't need me for 2 weeks, if you know what I mean. But so you understand where I'm coming from,
Absolutely. You need to recharge your batteries, and if you need to recharge your batteries, take as long as you need. But scale modeling is not going anywhere.
I think that's absolutely right. I mean, if I may, I think people sometimes forget this, and I wrote a little bit about this a few weeks ago. But Airfix and Chill has been running for not far off 4 years, pretty much every Monday evening for 2 hours, 8 till 10, and has built up a considerable following as a result of doing that. And I note that there are quite a lot of content creators who work really hard for about 2 years, something like that, and they go anywhere from between about 2,500 to about 6,000 subs, and a good number of them fall by the wayside at that stage. And they do so mainly because it sort of becomes a job to be a content creator, and it's hard work. And when you think about 4 years of Moz's show, I mean, Moz on models, let's call it that, shall we? But 4 years of that takes a very considerable amount of stamina to achieve. And I think that I'm going to say congratulations, Moz, for doing all that you've done. I'm not attempting to speak for other people because I've not been elected by you, but you've worked really.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Susan is our leader.
You've worked really hard to create this thing, and now you're the centre of it, and people come here to listen to what you have to say, and what other people have to say. And if you want to take a break, then you take a break, and you, as the most excellent Simon said, you recharge your batteries, you have a little set to, tidy your room up, as I think a certain public intellectual once said, which is not what it sounds like, but is a positive thing nevertheless. And I think there's every opportunity for you to come back strong and come back to smack later on.
Yeah,
do that.
I will say that. I will say that. Don't get me wrong. This isn't a hard job. One of my favourite times of the week is being here on screen with other scale modelers, with more different experiences, different thoughts, and I love the debate, yes, pink tinted glasses with me, but I enjoy playing devil's advocate and putting a different side of things. But 9 times out of 10, the different side comes from you guys, from those in the chat. Don't get Monday nights is always a pleasurable time for me, and I'm amongst friends. There are hateful people out there. There are, even today I've seen a comment about me. I'm like, oh, but as long as I'm doing the right thing for the scale model community, that's all that matters. And if I do go off the rails, then it's time for me to close the channel down. I just need that. I just feel that I just need a breather. As I said, I'm not sleeping right, and I'm having help in ways. People ringing me up, talking to me, and I'm a talker anyway. I talk and I process things by talking. So don't get me wrong. I've had some of the best conversations in the last 3 or 4 days with people that I trust and love, and it's been good. And I just felt that I've got a lot in here at this room at the moment that I really do need to get down and start. What's the word? Seeing stuff. I've got loads of stuff I'm never going to build. Because I've already built. I've got, as I said, I've got about 4 or 5 lightnings. Not because I like building lightnings, but I love the schemes that came with lightnings. And Bearcats, Crumbs. You'll see a few Bearcats on the vintage thing. So, all the Afghan stuff. I've the Coyote and the. It's time just to. I'll keep some stuff. I'm going to keep that helicopter, the Operation Herrick helicopter, because I think it's fabulous. Just to clear things that. I am not going to sell my vintage stuff. I'm still going to keep all like the baggies and things because that's what I collect. The FXs, but just everything else has just got to. Let's just start fresh, anyways. But anyway, we've been on now. Let's move on a little bit because I know you boys want to talk about advertising model kits. I don't know why, but I'm personally, I'm just going to be like on question time. I'm going to put what's in the chat in. I'm not really going to, I've got my opinions on what's been going on in the advertising world when it comes to scale modeling. But Barry came up with this little beauty today. I'll put it on stage now. So thankfully, after all these years, Airfix are going to be releasing the Robin Hood sets and everything. But there is a problem with this advert, Barry, isn't there?
Yeah, that's not in the box. That is not 176 scale Robin Hood. That's
okay.
AI.
That's AI, is it?
That's AI. That no way is that 176.
Right.
Way too detailed for 176.
Yeah. So if you saw that, you would think, oh, I'm going to be able to do. If I saw that picture there, and you bought the Robin Hood collection, you'll be disappointed because what's in the box is actually it's this, that. And you're looking at it's this one here, isn't it? Number 1.
Yeah, that's Robin Hood.
That's what you get in the box.
That's right.
Okay.
The only change there is they're using harder plastic this time round.
Well, they do that anyway with the vintage classics, don't they?
Yeah, well, the figures always used to be vinyl,
Mm.
but apparently
it.
they're using harder plastic now, so they're easier to paint. But that's Robin Hood, and that's completely different to what's on the advert.
Right.
I hope
Imagine
that's
the
not
picture on
what Scramjet's working on.
But the picture on the box, you see what I mean? So are they like AI that picture that's on the
No,
box?
that's genuine artwork from an earlier issue. That's the
artwork.
standard artwork for that set.
So even though you've got the artwork, you clearly see it's an artwork. Would you say that was fake advertising then? If you see this,
Yes, that's misleading.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely misleading, because that is not in the box. It's probably even too detailed for 1/32.
but they are doing one with the castle. Apparently, is that right?
Yeah, that's all 1/76 scale. Saving the Sheriff of Nottingham set, that's 1/76, or HO00 when they were first released.
If I saw that, I wouldn't think it was Airfix. I think it was somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the first time they've monkeyed around with it. Some of their other advertising is somewhat suspect with the slogans they've put up on that particular page. And another one I've noticed, there's two different artworks for the J52.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell. Go on.
Yeah, I just said that was that actual image was taken down because people were complaining about that image. I can't show you that image, but yeah, because the rear tail was up off the ground, wasn't it? The original box art had it on the ground, where the other mischievous one, you could see that the wings were wrong and the wheel was up off the ground, wasn't it, or something? So yeah.
So what the hell's going on? I don't know.
Yeah, there's
a
Robin Hood.
Yeah, 1/76.
So this picture on the screen, that is not a 1/76 version of
no.
I did notice in the comments on the side here that it says, "Pity that was not one of the figures from the Robin Hood set." If that's the actual, if that was Git Finger writes, if that's the actual figure in the set, I'll eat a helikit of your choice. Yeah, there's been a lot of people talking about it, saying that how to tell the world that your marketing department doesn't know the hobby brand products they are marketing to the customers. Wink. So there's a lot of backlash on it, but there's been so much backlash on their advertising anyway. Sadly, and I say sadly, I've got no beat in this game, but I know that there's a lot of thoughts on the panel about this anyway. So if you want to lay it out, you crack on. I see, and they are supposed to be being available or pre-order when I think they should have been brought out in June anyway. So, but yeah, the adverts have caused a bit of a faux-pas, I suppose, online. By what they're putting out.
It's not the first one that's caused a bit of a hoo-ha. There is 4 previous ones which I think are on the same Airfix page, which sort of use like schoolboy double entendre humour. Which I've no idea what they're playing at or who they're trying to appeal to, but I'm just completely lost at this time. I don't know what to make of it.
Weren't they funny though? Weren't they funny? Would you not say that it was adult humour, or is it something that you wouldn't expect in this day and age?
It's cheap schoolboy humour. It's carry-on style. Something lines you'd expect in a carry-on film, and they've not made one of those for years. It's just so past tense, it's unbelievable. It's like they've stepped back 40 or 50 years to look for inspiration for marketing, and somebody must be a carry-on film fan and pinch lines off it, like painting helmets or being good with your hands. Come on, we want to make models, not learn how to jerk off.
Fair shout. Yeah, that's interesting. Chopper's Model Works said, "Are they leaving the company name off the advertisement? kind of odd if they are. Well, to be
Yeah.
fair, on the adverts I've seen, I know it's been mentioned all over that every single logo in the corner has been different anyway, which is what people are saying it's all AI generated advertising. You got any thoughts on this, Zinni?
Well, I'm just a bit surprised at this focus on figures. I mean, Robin Hood is not going to look very good with my 172 scale aeroplanes if I should choose to build them. He looks a bit out of place, to be honest with you. And none of the scales seem to add up to anything really clever, because you've got, what have you got? You've got Robin Hood, and you've got Roman soldiers, and you've got something else, and the other thing all in 176 scale, and then you've got a load of other stuff in 132 scale, when Airfix themselves create 135th scale armor. So Second World War armor, do they do some 132 scale armor? I don't think they do they?
No, not
Yeah,
now.
they did. Yeah, they did do some.
They did do some, but they've not got any available at the moment. So these things are just orphans, and either the British Army in the desert created some absolute fucking giants to be able to go with their tanks and to really beat up on those wicked Germans or something, or they've made a bit of a mistake scale wise. This range is not a range, it's just a series of orphans, and they presumably looked at it and said, I know, we'll do this. And that's about the extent of the thinking. I'm not really sure, quite frankly. I'm not particularly impressed by that kind of thing anyway, quite apart from the fact that the actual picture of Mr. Robin Hood doesn't look like the AI generated one. And is it going to? No, probably not. But this doesn't strike me as another particularly clever move. There have been a series of not very clever moves made by these guys over the course of the last few weeks. Hello, by the way, Airfix, you hard-working little people. Well done, even the nice ones. I'm not particularly impressed, to be honest with you. It doesn't impress me.
Well, to be fair, 176 scale was all railway, so they did the tanks and vehicles and figures to go with the railway scale.
Yeah.
How many people have a railway on this?
I did.
Yeah.
Once.
Yeah.
Once.
I did.
I'm not going to lie. When it comes to the actual Robin Hood figure sets, I am somebody who would probably have bought them, because I never had the thought, but the actual figures, I used to pick them up in the 90s. You could buy them in the 90s. They were out and about, and you could have them as a figure set. And if you bought the fort and everything, you could probably do yourself a little wargaming sort of thing, print, the Sheriff of Nottingham versus Robin Hood. But the thought was, what do you think of all the adverts that are happening at the moment from Airfix? Is there anybody that's got any thoughts on that? That's what I'm looking for, really. Are they appropriate?
Make a point out?
Go on, Joffrey.
There was a comment earlier that was saying, are they leaving Airfix's logos off? Why? Isn't that weird? Well, I'm pretty sure Vintage Classics is actually a logo that's licensed only to Airfix. So that would gear that AI image to Airfix. Now,
no, the actual. If you actually look at the logo, Vintage Classics, it looks nothing like the Airfix Vintage Classic logo.
Yeah, but the term Vintage Classics is an Airfix term, isn't it? That's why Revell couldn't use it.
Revell had it first. Classics had it first. They had Classics first.
Did they have
The problem is, for me, is that advert is so misleading. I actually think if somebody bought that and they had a bit of wits about them, they could sue Airfix.
Musk, can you send me that image, the advert, please, by messenger?
What the type? I'll show you the link to it.
The one of the fake Robin Hood, because I can't find it.
Okay. Are they taking it down already? Have they?
Yeah, I can't find it on their website.
I better screenshot
It's on Facebook.
It's on Facebook.
Yeah. It's on Facebook.
You see, if you've got items that are
I
clearly
might not be a member of that group.
Yeah, okay.
If an item came on and it wasn't representative of what you bought, That's misleading advertising.
Yeah, false advertising.
You can get sued for that.
Yeah.
Many have.
Well, I don't know. It's a graphical representation.
It's
Oh,
still an
sure.
advert.
I'll check once I've got the image.
The
don't think
situation, the
an
situation
AI.
doesn't come into live until somebody buys it and then realizes that the advertising they bought it from isn't representative of what's in the box.
Yeah.
So they can get sued.
I don't think that image of that figure is AI. So for several reasons, I think it's roughly 156 scale.
Yeah.
What's known as heroic scale in the tabletop wargaming
Uh,
fraternity. So about 156. Also, if you look at the base, so the figures that Airfix have in their Robin Hood set are on a rectangular base. Would I be right?
Yeah, right, and they're plain.
The base on that particular figure is circular, which is very, very common in tabletop wargaming. It's painted like a tabletop miniature rather than a scale model. So I would hazard a guess. So that image you've got there, Mars, is not the image on the Airfix website. On the Airfix website, it says 176 scale.
Yeah.
That image, that box says 172.
This is
So
this is on the
there's a lot of ambiguity around what's in the box, what scale it is. That
Luke,
figure's certainly not in the
Can I
box.
can I just mention something about this? You see the image of the Robin Hood box from the front. If you click on that, it will say 172 because that was actually a Humbrol percentage box, which was originally owned by Heller.
What?
I think you'll find virtually every armor and figure set they ever released at that time was 72nd, but it was 76th inside the box.
Which is misleading in itself.
Yeah.
Well, there was a period in time when Airfix reboxed a lot of stuff that was 176. And
Yeah, it would have been this era when Heller owned Humbrol, and Humbrol were representative of advertising and presenting Airfix as a company. I mean, the Churchill tank, I remember the Churchill tank vividly had 172nd written on it, but it was a 00 scale kit.
That's right, 176.
Yeah.
That's a gaming piece.
It is.
It absolutely is. It's not 176, it's not 172. It's not an Airfix Vintage Classic. The way it's painted, so if you look at the tunic and the way the tunic and the hat and the leggings are painted, that is a certain painting style that is very synonymous with the tabletop wargaming community, as is the round base, as is the fact the base has some tufts and groundwork on it. They've taken that image. They may have done a search for a Robin Hood figure and they've added it to the advert, but it's not AI generated.
That's what AI generated.
The advert may be AI generated using that image, but the image is arguably a genuine figure.
I wonder then if you could reverse Google image it and see if it comes up.
That's what I'm doing right now, Moz.
Yeah, I'm just going onto my Google image reverse. By the way, I'm nothing to do with this tonight, lads. This is all about you. See if somebody's asking about this image.
It's a lovely image, though, isn't it? It's a lovely figure. Whoever's done that, it's really nice. Yeah.
At this time, I still think it's AI. One of us is going to be right. One of us is going to be wrong. Ace bets now.
Is it Barry's Baggies?
I don't think these ever came in a bag.
No.
Right.
The this whole tabletop wargaming thing's potentially an interesting one to go, in a road to go down. I mean, who are the players in this sort of wargaming arena? Who are the brands, the manufacturers? And
There's hundreds.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, literally
I
hundreds.
presume it's quite a big marketplace, is it?
Huge.
Yeah. Huge.
And I mean, is this part of the Airfix plan? Then, do you suppose is this part of the scheme to try and take a little bit of that market with these figures, possibly?
Well, yeah, of course, but that's why they've always done it. They've always released these little figures for that market, good, and it was a good little number for them because they don't have to tool it, or if they go back to the archive, and the reason they put them in a vintage classic box was to distinguish what was pre-Hornby and what was after Hornby. Now there are some that do end up that are of it, for instance, the JB models ones. Yeah. They were 1996 made. Hornby bought them, but they couldn't really put them in the vintage classic realm, even though in theory they should be, because it's pre-2000s. This was Hornby, so they released them little 176 or 172nd scale Land Rovers under the normal Airfix boxing. That's how it works. So,
guys, I've just googled Robin. I've just googled the figure, and if you go on Jadlam's page, it comes up with the Robin Hood Sherwood Castle and figurines set 176 scale. The box art has got that picture on it.
Has it?
Yes.
I wonder if they've applied for to be authorized to use that image, because it's not their image, is it?
Yes, it's an Airfix Robin Hood Sherwood Castle and figurines set. It's the box art.
That figure is nothing Airfix have ever told.
It's on the box art.
Because if you look at those images of the figures you get, and they're on the back of the box.
The image is on the box art, but it's not in the box.
No, you won't get it.
So have they got authority to use that image from the person who owns the original image?
You do. I don't think that's not for us to discuss, is it? Really? The image, it might be a real image that's been enhanced by AI. There could be some enhancements there.
Yeah,
and you need more than one string to your bow. Yeah,
it's Airfix's box art. Or it could be a Roy Castle box art, could it?
Right. So there's the box art. There's the
figure.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't. Yeah, they're similar, but I wouldn't say that it was, unless they've used that figure and AI enhanced it to make it look like a real life 3D resin. Well, 3D resin. What am I saying? Because to me,
I can't quite remember what that says. Does that include the Sheriff of Nottingham figures as well? Because originally they were two different boxes.
Well, that's what Jadlam have got released in June this year.
So do you think they've got the two boxes, the Robin Hood set and the Sheriff of Nottingham set in the same box?
Oh my word, Ben, you are joking. Are you serious, Ben?
That's he said.
He's just got that image. He's just got the image from that box art, and he's put it through Chat GPT. And if I click this and show you what the, hang on, let me just close that down. Let me just show you what he's just showed me. Hang on, let me just let me find it again. Hang on, let's close that. I don't want that. Cancel. I don't want that.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I'll share screen, window. Which one is it that I need? Why is it not coming up? It's just a photo, is it? Oh, I need to save it. That's why. Open with preview. Let me open it with preview a minute so you can see, and then I can go back in here and get it up. Click share, and then. You are joking me, man. That is it. He's just replicated that on ChatGPT.
I'll be jiggered.
So if you look at that image, that one that's on screen now,
Yeah.
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 and compare that to the image that Airfix have put out,
Yeah.
there are subtle differences. So that image there is an AI image.
Mm. Okay.
However, if you look at the one Airfix have put out, if you look at particularly at the base
Yeah.
is thin.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
what AI will do, and what it's done there, is it will put it on what it thinks is a standard wargaming base, which is the base it's on in that image.
Yeah.
Because the biggest wargaming source, tabletop wargaming source that it will draw from is Warhammer. That's very Warhammer-esque, the base. If you look at the image on the Airfix reviews, the base is different. It's thinner. Although it's circular, it's thinner. And that's used by lots of wargaming systems that aren't Warhammer, which is what leads me to believe that the image, it's very, very easy. If you've got a photograph like Ben's just done there, if you've got an image, you can create a 3D image. You see the difference in the base?
Yeah, the difference.
Yeah, I can see that now. Yeah.
You can create an image in ChatGPT or other AI programs are available. Create the image, and then ChatGPT or other AI will create an STL file from the image that you can then 3D print into a physical object.
There's quite a lot of differences between those two figures, isn't there?
Yeah, because the one on the left, the one that Airfix has used, I would argue is a real
figure.
Yeah.
The one on the right is an AI generated image of what AI thinks
you should look like.
I mean, even his tunic sleeve, it's totally different, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what we're trying to get at is
how quickly Ben generated that image.
Yeah.
Through AI.
The feather.
But it's too perfect. Look at the face.
Yeah.
It's too perfect to be a genuine figure. Whereas I would argue, if you look at the base on the image on the left, if you look at the edges of the base where the groundwork meets the green base, there are imperfections.
Yeah.
They got the shadow right, though, didn't they? They got the shadow right on that base.
It's a very well painted figure.
But
I would argue that it's a genuine figure that they found an image of somewhere. Look at the right hand. Look at the differences between the AI generated image and the actual figure. Look at the quiver. Look at the face. Look at the hat. Look at the sleeve.
Look at the bowstring. It's
that's what I'm saying. That's what I've been trying to say. The bowstring on the AI is knotted to the arrow. It ain't gonna go and there's no bottom string.
There's no bottom string.
And there's no bottom string. And the one on the left, there's no string at all.
No string.
No.
They airbrushed that out.
I can't find the tabletop one.
Also, surely the bowstring would go to the back of the bow rather than the middle.
Yeah, that's going to go about. If anything, he's going to shoot it and it's going to loop around and hit him in the back of the head.
Yeah, literally.
But it's frightening, though, isn't it? How well AI works, so doesn't it?
Yeah.
But he has, even just look at the stance and everything. The stance is almost the same. The belt buckle. I know this is what the AI is generated is something too perfect. I get that, but you look at it, But at the end of the day, that is not what you're going to be getting inside the box, is it?
No,
regardless, it's misleading, isn't it?
It's totally misleading.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it very carefully, the two figures are actually really very different.
But what I'm saying is that this is what you get when you use ChatGPT, and that's why people are using it, because it does look. It's just getting better and better as it turns out. It just looks better and better, doesn't it?
How long did it take to generate that? A couple of minutes.
He took the box art and told ChatGPT to make a 3D scale model of it, and boom, he got that in his box. So you tell me.
I wonder if it'd be any different if he did it again, or would it be identical?
What if you put in it and just say make it look like Airfix and see what happens?
Probably look a lot closer to the thing that's in the box.
Yeah. But I think this is why, let's say this. I'm not skilling this. I'm just saying what the comments I've been reading is that as a hobby, scale modeling is all about accuracy, being honest to make an honest representation of the vehicle or the subject as close as you can by painting it, adding photo etch, 3D, and doing all this stuff. And when this is the comment I saw, the comment was, how can we trust the scale model manufacturer if they're using AI in this sort of realm, including their marketing? How can we trust that what they've given us in the box is going to be faithful representation of what we want to build?
Exactly.
It's.
Regardless of whether the Airfix figure that they put out, regardless, I would argue it's not AI for various reasons. But even if it is, the fact remains that figure in that pose is not in the box.
No, it's not.
No.
So therefore, regardless, it's a misleading advert because someone's going to buy the box potentially on the strength of that advert, and then they're going to open the box, and that figure's not in there.
Okay, just quickly, can I just jump in here, Brian? Great point. All this crap that's coming out will have one desired effect. Everyone's talking about Airfix. No such thing as bad publicity. Yeah. I disagree. Just look at Disney. Okay, did anybody really go and watch that film in the end after all that bad publicity? Look what happened with Amber Heard. Oh, and the Johnny Depp saga. Did anybody go and watch that film from I can't remember what the film was called now? Bad publicity doesn't necessarily mean better sales. No. It can do the actual opposite.
Yeah.
Put people off. Well, and so I do not think bad publicity. There's only bad publicity. No, I disagree with that statement. I think.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree for a number of reasons, but the main one is to use the example of that debacle of Doctor Who, and I suspect that the fact that everybody talked about how woke it got only accelerated the end for Doctor Who, and people stopped watching when it went that way. Everyone then knew about it, and those that didn't quickly did and thought, no, not having anything to do with that. I think it's exactly the same with Disney and other things. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Let's see what happens elsewhere.
You've only got to remember what happened to Ratner's in the 80s.
Well, he at least had the honesty to come out and say what he thought about his stuff.
He was very transparent, but he killed his company overnight, didn't he?
He did. He did.
No, indeed. It was an error, certainly.
No, as I agree, but I was making that's Airfix's standpoint. I'm Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was one film. There was the film about which Amber Heard was in it. What was it called? The one underwater. I can't know what it's called now.
Aquaman.
Aquaman.
Yeah.
Just going to say from someone who studied politics. Oh, well done, Ben. I don't know how you study that at the moment. When you are the story and you're not, and not your products, that's normally not a good thing. So if it's about the products, I get that for sure. But it was.
Aquaman 2 was the one.
Supergirl in it got cut.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a shame the way things are going, because Airfix started to become very transparent in what they were selling. And then I think Revell, bearing in mind, Revell have been putting images of what they actually build on their instructions for years and years and years. So the transparency is there. But for Airfix to come back and start doing all this imagery, it's taken away the transparency. Now, I don't think it's a good thing, is it?
Well,
what's your... Go on.
You know, some of the other publicity, they're actually got pictures of built models, but it's the slogans that go with them that's bad. This is the first one where they've used this image, and it's just all gone belly up.
So what's people's general? I'm as I said, I'm trying to skin the game in this, but these adverts with the innuendos, is it a good thing for Airfix? Go on, then, Luke. Have you got any thoughts on this?
Well, we discussed it yesterday, didn't we? My view is that for whatever reason, Hornby have put in a management and marketing team into Airfix that clearly do not understand their customer base. It's a very niche customer base. And in my view, the slogans, the use of images that aren't in the box, etc., it's just not hitting the mark like the Airfix that we have grown accustomed to. And that is these sort of slogans and whatever, it's like marketing playbook 101 that you could apply to any industry. And 8 times out of 10, you will gain some success by doing that. However, what they clearly don't understand is the market that they're aiming this at. They don't understand the market, whereas the Airfix of old, in fairly recent times, did. They understood the customer base, and they targeted the customer base. I don't think the current team in place do, and I think ultimately that will be their downfall, because we have to have, as consumers in this space, it's a high trust space. If they market something such as that figure, if they market that as you can buy a box set with this figure in it, which is what it leads you to believe, unless you're really sad like we are and you go away and research it and everything else. But for 9 out of 10 customers, they see that image and think, I'm going to get that figure, that'd be great. The box set is £6, I'm going to buy it. Then they get the box set at home and it's not in there. Straight away, they've just obliterated the trust of that customer.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're in a marketplace where trust is important. Airfix gained some success over the last 5 or 6 years because people started to build a trust around the brand, me included. You knew if you were buying a new tool Airfix kit, chances are it's going to be good. You had a trust in the brand. Now, if they erode that trust in the brand, their customers will go elsewhere. I don't care what slogans they put on the adverts. I really don't care. It doesn't bother me. What bothers me is what's in the box.
Yeah.
And if that's misleading, which it clearly is, then I'm not going to buy the box, am I?
No, going back to what you said, Luke, which is if people do the research about that photo, they ain't going to buy it. They're not going to purchase their hard-earned money into Airfix's kits if they're going to be putting AI or generated photos out like that, slogans. People aren't going to buy them.
Good marketing should be about dreams and aspirations. Not about telling people what to do with their helmets. For being good with their hands. I want to build a model, not jerk off.
I want to jump in. I think everybody's missing the point, and I'm going to come at it from a different angle. If you connect the dots, and if you consider the source, okay, let's connect the dots. Certain individuals have left Airfix that everybody admired. Okay, they're gone now. And
whose phone's that?
It's mine. I'm just going to put me on.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
We are going
to. So he's buying the beers later.
We are now going to talk smack on Jaffe.
Yeah.
And the impression I get, and it's just my impression, the seriousness of Airfix is gone. The catering to the serious modeler, to the hobbyist, to the older individual, that's gone. That they don't care about us anymore. It's all about the sales, the cheap sales. We can knock out these cheap kits for £6. Our new market is the kids, the little kids that can slam something together, play with them, destroy them. They don't care, because the new team that comes in views us as, one, probably dirty old men, and two, we can aim our advertising at kids now, and so therefore we're going to market towards kids. And the kid's not going to care if the image matches the what's in the box. The people that did are gone. They do not care about us, the serious modeler, anymore. It's all about the quick, cheap sale. That's why they're going to run the old kits into the ground. They don't care about quality. It's a quick buck, and when everything goes, tits up, then they just sell it off.
Yeah,
that's what I just
spot on.
All the new kits that they said were coming, I'd be surprised if they see the light of day. They're not going to release anything new for the next foreseeable future. Their future is milking this for whatever they can, with whatever they can re-release, and throw it out there, innuendo and all, because that's the way the current team views us and their supposed target market of prepubescent teen boys. They'll get a laugh out of this. And so that's it. Airfix isn't a serious player anymore. They just aren't. Yeah, and apologies to all the good people that are still stuck there. Hopefully they're looking elsewhere. And I'm sure their talents would be most welcome elsewhere. But that's just my take on the whole thing.
I think you've got a point. I do see an expansion of the vintage classic range as they dig out more old tools and release stuff.
But they're not. I couldn't agree more with you. It doesn't matter how many vintage classics they release. They're no longer marketing it at the serious modeler.
They can sell vintage classics to kids because the kids don't care.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a 60-year-old mold that has flash on it and doesn't go together right, the kid's going to slap it together, light it on fire out in his backyard garden, and that's it. That's what
I plead guilty.
Yeah, I think.
And to Alf 133's point, absolutely correct. But that's how out of touch this new team is.
I think we're back to that old thing. I've said it a time or two before, and in a marketplace, it strikes me in this country where high-end modelers, if you want to call them that, people who are looking for a high-quality product and are prepared to pay for it, are very much, I think, in the ascendancy. Companies have to make up their minds to either be the best or sell the most.
Absolutely.
And it's a shame that Airfix have gone down the wrong road, it seems to me. Which is the second of those two things.
I just want to reply to this. The vintage classic expansion was already happening under Dale. Yes. So my understanding of when I was in the loop was that the vintage classic was created to split old Hornby, old Airfix with new Hornby owned Airfix. Okay. And the idea is that when they released the vintage classics, they would get. You wouldn't see them again for another 10 to 15 years. So, like that bomb bug, for instance, just an example. It came, had a few issues. They got the issue sorted. I was under the impression you wouldn't see that bomb bug again for another 10 to 15 years. That was the idea. So it gave it that. So you either buy it now because you may not see it again. It's like the SRN4.
Yeah.
It's that bad, but people wanted it so much. And they even put on the website that the flash, there's going to be a lot of flash. It's going to take a lot of work to get this tooling together. But my impression was it was one release, and that's it. Buy it now, you'll never see it again in an FX box. Okay, that's my impression of it. My worry is now that the value of a vintage classic will be even less now because you won't have that gap in between. So the one current generation of modelers will buy it now. If they release it in 4 years' time, they won't get the sales because, you know, it's only been released 4 years ago. Sometimes, and the thing about vintage classics is that you don't do anything with it. It comes with one scheme, the original scheme. Unlike a normal tooling where they would release it with a different scheme or add new parts to it, a vintage classic was a one ticket only. That was the idea. And the fear is that they will start pushing out them in a less time. Oh, you know, there's that Comet. Yeah, okay, we'll release that again. Do you know what I mean? That's the fear that I feel anyway. Not that I'm getting involved in this conversation. But yeah, most kids are instant gratification orientated, and model builder is definitely not that means of gaining that. Diecast is what gives the current kids their modeling fix, not our kits.
I'm going to have to disagree with that because when we do our model show, and we've got the next one next month, the kids and kits make and take is very popular, and this year instead of having one room, we're using two because the event is so popular to try and get kids into model making.
So define popular, Barry.
Packed out.
Yeah.
What does that look like in numbers?
I couldn't tell you the numbers. You'd have to talk to some of the others.
Roughly.
I just wander around with the camera all day.
Roughly 100?
Overall,
50?
over the entire day, with people going in and out, I reckon that's about right.
Okay. Ever been to a gaming show?
Say again?
Ever been to a gaming show?
No.
That's popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're talking something that's relatively niche, as is model making.
Exactly that, mate. Exactly
yeah, so,
that.
you know,
modeling is not popular amongst younger generations.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree. We
I
don't have
think
the numbers of gaming, but getting roughly 100 kids throughout the day.
Okay.
Well, how many of those? But I think the point is how many of those kids have built a model that day and they've gone back home and they've gone right next model. Buy another one. That's right. That is the. I understand where you're coming from, but I reckon, for instance, I remember years ago going to a fair, right, a craft fair, and then there was a guy there who was turning wood, and he said to me, "Do you want to go?" And I turned this little wood like a handle thing that then I could put anything on the end of. He had done it in a way that if I wanted to put a little fork on the end for the barbecue or something. Did that mean that when I got home, the first thing I did was go to Screwfix and order a lathe? No, it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? I did. The proof's in the pudding. Obviously, it's a bit of a crap example because lathes are like hundreds of pounds. But it didn't. I had to go with it. I enjoyed it. It's in another one is pottery. Years ago I sat in between it. I had this ghost appear and help me do this bowl. Did I go out and buy a potter's wheel? No, I didn't. You know what I mean? I had to go with it. And I think that's the difference. It's all well getting somebody, it's getting them to do that second or third kit, and then you know that they've hooked and it's been worth your while. But saying that, at least they've had a chance of going at it, and you will sucker in people. Same with Golf. You swing a Golf round. Some people
will plant a seed in a very small number.
Yeah.
But the difference now, and the reason I know this, my stepchildren are 15 and 11.
Yeah.
Now, they have, particularly the 11-year-old, who's a boy, he has zero interest in what's going on in this room. Now, when I was 11, I didn't have all the competing forces that he now has for his time. Gaming. It's so big, and to try and get a child to sit down and build a model amongst all this other stuff is a massive ask. So this thing about, you've only got to go to any model show and look at the competition. How many entries are in the junior class in comparison to entries in the adult class? It's changing so much. There's way more things that they can do now than we ever could as children, as generations before me could do as a child. There's way much more competing for their attention. That's actually way more fun than filling a fuselage, or it just is. And we've got to accept that we are a very small niche, and the younger people, that you might get the odd one or two that come back to it, but for most people, gaming is how they spend their time now.
So, so really, those adverts then from that we were seeing with all the innuendos was aimed at the market of blokes, trying to get them into scale modeling. Because I know if I talk to people on generally modeling people that I speak to when I'm at a show, they've been doing it in the last 5 years and they've really enjoyed it. It's like it's become their hobby when they, and maybe, and sometimes I feel that some hobbies are like that. You don't see many kids playing golf, do you, on the golf courses? But when they reach 21, 25, they end up on the golf course and they start playing. I go to the local golf course here and I do gigs there. And I notice there are those in their 60s and 70s that need a buggy to go round. And you get the youngsters in. But there's only a handful of youngsters, but they bring their mates. So maybe these adverts then are good because it's putting some humour in that maybe kids would get or younger adults would get.
And you're also looking at that sort of novelty value. So you see the kits in Lidl or Aldi or whichever one it was. So look at the box art that in the most recent iteration. It's very cartoony. It's very colourful. It's designed to capture the imagination of the 6 or 7-year-old that's walking around with mom or dad doing the food shop on a Saturday afternoon. It's designed to capture their interest for a few pounds that mom or dad will throw in their trolley. They'll go home. They'll budget together. They don't really care. Mom or dad probably haven't built models as a child because they're the younger generation now. Parents are younger than they grew up with gaming systems, etc., etc. So I don't think Airfix are going for the mass market, as Zinzan said. It's not about quality. It's about how many can we sell. Does the quality really matter? No, because the people they're aiming it at don't care.
There's something
1958.
Hang on, one at a time.
Yeah.
Go on, Zinzan.
Well, just something to add, and many will correctly say, "Oh, this is a bit of a 180 from you, Zinner's old boy," and I would say, yeah, maybe it is actually. But I mean, look, these figures and all that sort of thing, and the box art and all that, it doesn't impress me that much. But a couple of the points that have been made across the panel about modelling, but particularly high-end modelling being niche, scale modelling and the dyed-in-the-wool scale modeler, there aren't many of them. So how do you make your money selling to them? Well, you have to sell a few very high-quality kits and make a lot of money and hope that you can do that. And maybe that model, if you'll forgive the expression, isn't really working for Airfix. So what do? They either carry on doing the same thing, and admittedly producing some really very good quality. I mean, that Lysander, for example, is a very good kit. Make no mistake about it. They got it right. They can continue doing that and watch their market dwindle as people like me, fade away and stop making models because we're now horizontal and pushing on the button.
You're in your prime, Zinzan.
That's what they tell me, and I'm on.
You're in your Waitrose years, aren't you, mate?
After the fifth beer, I'm willing to agree with you. They can either carry on doing that and watch the market dwindling, or they can do something else. They've got to do, and maybe what we're seeing is them doing something else. I happen to think that the current box designs, on those Roman soldiers and all those kind of things, they might only be attractive to the children of Jacob Rees-Mogg, and probably nobody else. You'll have to Google that, but if they were to modernize it slightly, and this is to Luke's point about this, the other type of modeling name I can't remember, they're designed in an engaging way to attract kids, not somebody who dresses in a three-piece suit. The message I have, and whoever's listening can listen to it, is you won't do your best work if you antagonize the people that speak well of you. That is a mistake, and you really need to consider that very, very carefully. But if you're doing something and you're trying to make things better as far as you see it, in terms of at least producing something, and getting a lot of volume out there. If you sell the volume, great. If you end up with a lot of stock, well, sorry, sucks to be you.
I'm just going to raise a point here that modelling is pushed towards adults and kids now anyway, and I totally gain that. I've always said that kids have got their own things now, and sometimes hobbies and pastimes ends up when you've got a place where the kids have grown up, gone to university, have got a spare room now. I think a lot more. I think it's plastic scale modelling, and I think Luke. I've come to this opinion now because of what Luke said and other people have said to me. So I think there'll be more of a case of you'll be printing your model, and then you'll be painting it. You wouldn't be about putting plastic together. You print your horse, then you would go and spray it, and then you wouldn't want to put a horse together, would you? You would print it and then paint it on your bench. And also a lot of the chemicals and the finishes that we use now you can't purchase under the age of 18. So modeling, got to go for the adults really. Give them the rally car, give them the cars that they would love to own but can't. So they could build a model of one and take it from there. I'm on the fence with it all anyway. So, but yeah, it is basically a case of what's what. Ben's just sent me another picture very quickly. Now this is version 4 apparently from ChatGPT. He's done. He's done this. He's gone to ChatGPT and asked them to do bits and pieces, and that's what he's come up with. The one on the right, which is a lot closer to what was on the left. And I don't know. Is it AI generated or is it a real model? But the legs are right, and he's done this using the box art from the FX box art. It's interesting, isn't it?
The wargaming one is obviously nowhere near that. The wargaming one that you can use for obviously gaming is way out of thingy to that. There's nowhere. It looks like nowhere like that. So it's not a gaming one.
I still say it's AI.
It's definitely done.
That's a debate to have.
I think Robin's going to miss his target every time on that one on the right.
But they're not aiming that at beginners.
No.
In a
Yeah, but that's what
marketing-
we're talking about the advert, Simon. We're talking about the
Yeah.
advert, whether it was AI generated or not. So, but anyway, let's move on from that. As I said, the advertising, they've gone this way with advertising.
It's not-
I would press that, and I did write, and I saw what the Interesting Modeling Company put out, which basically started the whole debate. Even though privately in Discord groups and stuff, people were looking at these innuendo adverts, going, "What the hell are Airfix doing?" And then Jonathan Mock goes out there with his group, the Interesting Modeling Company, and then put a big post up saying, "This is not what scale modeling is all about. What's the drive for all this?" And I think, and the quote that was shared was that, well, some were saying that, oh, you think we're all a bunch of tossers, scale modelers are tossers because it was all about a manhood, or the other response was, this is saying that us scale modelers are just seedy old men still stuck in the 1980s. And that's the fear you have when you do a marketing campaign that has a bit of risk, is how people interpret it. And they're saying, and people were commenting saying, this is like Benny Hill, and some of the comments have been quite hilarious, with the response. Oh, we see where the Jaguar marketing team ended up, things like that on the you know what I mean? That was there's been some really good comments, saying, and the same with this image now. It's like the scale modelers, but I don't think these. I like to think this, that they're not, these pictures are not aimed at us. They're aimed to get new people in. But if it'll work or not, I don't know. It's I don't believe bad publicity will. Bad publicity is a good thing. I really don't get that. It does it. At the end of the day, you market things to bring in sales, and if you're pissing off the majority of your already established base of people that buy from you, then that's not a good thing either. It's difficult.
You're absolutely spot on. So I mean, we've here in the States, we've experienced a few marketing campaigns in the last few years that were, they brought in new people. They came in with ideas of revamping. It's like decades to build a brand, right? And well, let's take it into a new direction. And I guess the goal is, just like you said, hey, let's bring in our marketplace. I mean, let's bring in a sort of a new market, a new expand the customer base, right? That's what I'm trying to say. But that doesn't work when you repel just as many people as you're trying to bring in, right? I mean, is that making sense? Because that's we've seen it here in the States a few times, and it just goes off. You saw it with Jaguar. That was a great.
I mean, the Jaguar the Jaguar advert was famous for not containing any cars at all. I don't think Airfix have gone quite that far.
No.
Give them time. Give them time.
But you gotta keep your core audience as you're trying to expand and bring in new people, right? It doesn't.
Yeah, I mean,
what I mean?
This is why I don't really understand quite why the modus operandi. Because if you're going to bring in new people, you might as well try and use the people who already speak well of you to help the process along. But that hasn't happened here, and that makes no sense at all to me. It is supremely ironic that the actions that Airfix take, that I'm sure they genuinely believe are a good thing for them, may turn out. I'm not saying they will, but they may turn out to be, or to have precisely the opposite effect. That's quite disturbing, really. For a homespun brand that should be
Right.
being really successful in its own marketplace, you know,
Right.
and is laying the way, you know, laying the ground for other people to take advantage of its, shall we say, misfortune, you know.
It's a beloved brand, right?
Yeah,
You know, I mean, no one is happy to see anything negative come or losing customers or what
No, I mean,
have you, but it is what it is.
Customers can you love?
I think it's been well said by many people in the past that, you know, and certain persons in particular, they want Airfix to win. I think, you know, it'd be nice to see Airfix winning. And I'm going to be charitable and say maybe this strategy that they've embarked upon, such elements of which we can see, are a genuine attempt by them to try and win. It remains to be seen if this will actually happen. You know, that's you know, I'm moving away from, you know, smack, shall we say, to trying to be a little bit charitable, because I think it's the right thing to do, in the sense that there has to be some logic behind what they're doing, because they're not just putting a pin in a bit of paper and saying, I know, we'll do that. But they're clearly thinking about this. They have to have thought about this in some way, you know, but not knowing their marketplace in the way that, you know, many other people do. They're making some bad choices, and I don't think they've got time to play around, as it were. They have to make the right choice. And one of the things about very good business people is that they can look at things with the minimal amount of information and make the right choices more often than they make the wrong ones.
Alex,
I'm going with Ben's theory.
Yeah. Well, before we go on Ben's theory, sorry, has anyone asked already? Do you have to state it's an AI generated image if you are selling something? No, but I've just brought this up. Can I share this screen? Hang on, let me just get rid of that a minute. Let me just share this screen. So they've actually covered their own asses, Airfix have. If we go to entire window, here you go, this one here. Let's look at this one a minute.
It says on the box, this does not include this image.
Hang on, no, don't say that. So if you go on their terms and conditions now on their website, it does say here that AI generated content, some product descriptions, promotional text or imagery on this website may have been partially or fully generated using artificial intelligence tools. All content is reviewed and approved by our team to ensure accuracy, relevance, and alignment with our brand standards. In some cases, visual representations of products may include AI-generated or digitally enhanced elements to assist in visualization. Actual product specifications will always be clearly stated. But that's not true, because in that Robin Hood one, they haven't put the product specification on there, I guess. Is it 1/72nd, you know, or anything like that? So, you know, they're bringing on these terms and stuff. So, you know, it's you know, as I said, they are covering themselves somewhat. But if your team doesn't know anything about the product, then how are you going to prove of the accuracy of it? Just saying.
It's an interesting thing that if that image is not on the front or back of the box, it could even be a pamphlet inside to suggest how you paint the figures, then that's okay. But if it's on the front of the box, it's misleading people into the.
But that isn't on the front of the box. That's just an advert for what they reckon.
So
it's an advert.
They have covered their arse, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's suggesting that it's a figure that's inside the box. That's
Which
a suggestion.
Could also lead you to decide how to paint your figures inside.
Yeah. If it was like, you know, for illustrative purposes only, fine.
Yeah.
You know, for that advert, I just would have used the box art right from the word go. Then there's no argument. So why they've used that image, I've no idea, because I still find it misleading. Because it gives the impression that it's a figure that's inside the box.
Yeah, but then have they actually said this is what the box contents are?
No, they haven't.
view of actual figure, anything like that, because that's how they can get done. If they haven't
Yeah.
used any of that, they've covered their own arse.
Yeah, it's a bit of a cop out.
Absolutely.
Though.
When most manufacturers, well, some I've seen put on the box, what you see on the front of a box may not be inside the actual.
Yeah, that's a get out of jail free card. That
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah. I will just say, somebody asked, will I buy Airfix kit again? Of course I'm going to buy an Airfix kit
Yeah.
again.
Mhm.
Of course I am.
What it is.
Yeah, same here.
I want to buy that Phantom.
It's
Come
like
on.
what Luke said last week, Moss, is that he, and I would include myself in this, if Airfix produced something I wanted to build, I would buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And that is my point.
Yeah.
That is the exact point. If there's something that Airfix release, whether it's a scheme, whether it's, like I said, I'm going to buy that lumber from Airfix because I want one with a crane.
Yeah.
I would love to buy a Sea King in yellow. That's what, if they release the Wessex in yellow, I'm going to buy it. I'm not saying I'm not going to buy Airfix again. I don't think anybody should say don't buy Airfix. What I'm saying is that if what's coming out, and I think Alex Mann was very succinct in how he said it. If there is a kit that you particularly want now, go and buy it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
with that.
the prices will go up. Okay. I have a fear that you will not be seeing subjects that you would want to purchase in 2027. Maybe a couple of reboxes with a different scheme, maybe a bit of added parts. But what happened? I am more excited on what Revell are going to release in 2027. I'm more excited about listening to what Tamiya, though it's few, what they're going to be releasing next year.
The biggest thing I've got, Moss, is that Airfix have always had a secret release for Telford. Do you think that's going to carry on, or do you think they're going to axe that?
Don't ask me. I don't know.
No.
I'm in no position now.
Watch this space, isn't it?
Yeah.
Watch your space.
I've got a feeling they might have one for this year because they've already had it in place.
No one from Airfix will talk to me.
No, of course.
There's a few in Hornby that still talk to me. Have I got a passion? I understand people. I know what people are saying. People have said this, that, you only really go on about Airfix because you've got an affiliate link. I tell everyone, go through any of my reviews, any review, Airfix, Revell, Tamiya, Mini-Art. I always review with a glass half full approach, that if there are issues, I still smile. Okay. That's how I do it. Obviously when there's been issues with kits, that are really bad, I mention it. It was never about selling the product of Airfix. It was about the fact that I wanted them to succeed. And and most of my problems from Airfix came from the vintage classics. Every single time. You've seen it, and I don't skip over it on my videos. Oh, this propeller's snapped. This has been short shot. The glass has been scratched. There's a wheel missing for the Concorde. Every single time I mention it in my video. That still, I sold £32,000 worth of Airfix products through that Partnerize account. Now, what I didn't know was I can see how many people click that link. And it was tens of thousands of people were clicking that Partnerize link. What I didn't know is that I would not get the sale for that kit or get a commission for that kit if they clicked decline on the do you accept cookies. If they clicked decline, they could have still gone to the Airfix website, bought that kit, but because they declined the cookie, I wouldn't have been associated with that sale. So how many sales did I bring through? But then you can ask Jadbam, when I promote, if I got a kit and there's a link to another shop, this is how I do it. It wasn't always about making money because You know, I think I'm not wealthy, but I'm comfortable in the businesses that I run. YouTube does not pay me. You know, I couldn't live on it on YouTube. What I do is I invest my monies I get from YouTube and from the affiliate links into buying the model kits to review, to buy the paints, to buy. It keeps my hobby free. The equipment, the computer, the cameras. That's what it pays for. Doesn't give me a wage. That's it pays for it. So it pays for this software, 40 odd pounds a month, whatever it is, you know. And so people saying that I'm using the affiliate links to make, I don't make a lot of money out of this. No, no one does. We do it because we love it and we want people to succeed.
It's interesting what you're saying there, Ross, about declining the cookies, because every time I go on a website and they give me the option to decline the cookies, I do. And I think to people do. So you can probably look at that figure and triple it.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Yeah. You know, who knows how much money, you know, I'm not going to put them through the Airfix website now, you know, no. I was one of the, but that's it. So I haven't got that anymore. As their last kick in the balls to me, apart from threatening to remove my channel and stuff, was they were going to remove me from the affiliate program. Well, fair enough, you know, but I did know that I forced, you know, my people say that, you know, I'm doing it for the money. Not really, because I get very little from the adverts and whatnot, and it pays for the hobby. That's what it does. Even this week, I've spent 120 quid on Airfix kit. We've had the Scharnhorst, we've had the what have we had this week? Or this month, sorry. So the Saracen came. We've had the Scharnhorst. We've had the what's that plane called that they just brought out? The little square box.
Skyvan.
The Skyvan's just come out, and I bought two, and I bought JU 52s.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually got three because I've given one away as a prize, but the person hasn't got back to me yet. So you understand that this hobby, doing reviews, costs money. You know, so I'm just laying that out there so people get it straight. So, but yeah, I'm still going to buy Airfix kits, but I'll be more particular. I'm not going, you know, like 1 year I spent 600, 700 quid on Airfix kits. I bought every single release. This year, not so much. Next year, I think my basket will be full of more Revell, Tamiya, Hella, and those mini art tractors, which I want to build. They look fantastic.
Yeah.
They don't come with foot.
Yeah, mini art. I agree with him. Mini art tractors.
Yeah. So there you go. That's how I see it. Don't say that. I don't. There are people I respect at Airfix that still work in Margate that I respect. Okay, and I want Airfix to still be around, but I've got a feeling that it won't be the Airfix that we know. It will be something completely. Well, it won't be completely different, but they will aim the market elsewhere. That's my prediction. And I want to be wrong in that prediction. Okay, you may see a couple more toolings or whatever, but that will be it. I won't be. I don't think you'll see many military models after in 2027. AI box art, online generated AI, whatever it is, just a hook for us to buy them. The box art shows what diorama you could make the items into. Trouble is, I'm not skilled enough to make them. I get that. Is Luke gone? Has he disappeared?
He probably did what I did earlier, hit the wrong button.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. I did it earlier. I had two windows open looking at the Robin Hood figure, and I closed the wrong one.
Yeah.
So Luke's probably may have done something similar.
I don't know if there's going to be an Airfix catalogue next year. I agree. If it's something that I want, I will try to get it. If it's something that I don't want, I don't care about it. And I think that's where I'm going to be. I buy the kits to review every kit. That's what it was. But then again, Revell, if there's a kit that I want to review, I'll buy it, or the Tamiya one, like the Chaffee. If it's available, I buy it and I'll review it. 35 quid. Let's review it. Probably gain about 15 quid in advertising revenue, but that's it. But yeah. There's some really good comments here. It takes years to build brand loyalty and day to destroy it if you don't understand your demographic. So
true.
Yeah,
definitely true.
Yeah, exactly. But it's one of them. We gotta look at it. Don't think that way. I'm done, but that's it. That's me. I'm moving on. So let's see what Revell bring out with that Harrier, because that Harrier looks fantastic.
It does.
In the future. Yeah.
Move on up to the top.
I'm looking forward to the Lysander that Airfix is going to bring out this year. The other
Which one's that one?
Yes,
The Lysander, the version 3 one.
The
The
one, yeah.
Yeah.
The special
I think
option.
Bearded Veteran's building that, isn't he?
is he?
What, the
I don't
Lysander?
know. Yeah, he's building that Lysander. He said it's a gorgeous kit, and it is. It is very much a gorgeous kit.
Build both.
Yeah. Let's have a quick look. Have Airfix done a Bud Light Jaguar? Just go and have a look yourself. I think we've discussed it enough, really. To be fair, there are people who don't like there are people who don't like the adverts. A lot of people are saying that a lot of the stuff's coming out as AI generated. If you look at all the adverts they put out this week, most of the logos are completely different. You've got the space one's different. The chopper one looks different. The tank, the Sherman or the tank one looks different. So yeah.
Has anybody watched Nigel's review of the new the Gecko model one, Chaffee?
It looks fantastic though, doesn't it?
It does. I've already got my eye on that one.
Yeah, I think it might. But then again, that if you watch a lot of people building the Chaffee, the Tamiya one, the fact that they know their market. If any company knows their market, it's Tamiya. And you're doing the Chaffee, and they've even put in jigs to bend that photo etch into. And the beauty is, you don't even need to when you've bent it, you just slot it in and bend the tabs down. You don't even need to glue it in.
No.
They thought that so all you need to do is use that. So, but yeah, it will be. Yeah. Hey, Mars, maybe go on.
No, that's right. No, it's your show, mate. I was going to say something.
You crack on. I've got nothing more to say. I think,
No, I mean, look, I think, one of the things that I did over the last couple of weeks was started fooling around with this 1/48 scale P38 Lightning, which is from, guess what, Tamiya. And one of the things I've discovered, once again, I keep discovering about Tamiya, is that it has the power to constantly surprise you with just exactly how good what they do really is, and how simple it is to put together. And you don't have to expend a lot of effort to make something, go together well, but then you can spend an awful lot of time in actually making it look really bloody good. And it that opportunity to do that, and this is the nirvana, I think, that most manufacturers of models are sort of trying to work their way towards. And I'm always interested to see content creators at their very best, people like Nigel and that fella called Oz. You may have seen him a time or two. And people like Luke, because their enthusiasm actually reflects back out onto other people, and so from that perspective, it sort of gets me to do some really spectacularly stupid things on occasions. And you'll know a little bit about this, Moz, but I've acquired a 132 scale Border Lancaster, which
you got that cheap, didn't you bugger? You got that very cheap.
Yes, well, there you are. What can I say? I got lucky at the auctions. But I'd like to do it, but I'm almost afraid to start it, to be honest with you.
Are you going to build an addition onto your house for that thing?
Say again?
You're going to build an addition onto your house for that thing?
I'm seeking planning permission even as we speak, because it is humongous, as they say.
Where are you going to put it?
I honestly don't know where I would put it. I genuinely don't know where I would put it. There isn't really any room for it. So it's in a wardrobe in a box at the moment.
Well,
I think there's big enough room for it. Yeah, I think just about. But no, it's that's I think that's content creation. You know, content creation done well. And when when
Yeah.
I saw Nigel do his bit with that, I thought I must have one of them at some stage. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's influencing you and your decisions, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
And my point is that when I do a review, what's the last thing I say on the review? I always say, "Is this a kit you will be happy with purchasing?" I put the emphasis back on the person watching my video and lay it onto them and say, "But the choice is yours. I've shown you what's in the box. I've told you what I think. I've shown you some of the errors, if there is any errors or if there's not any errors. Is this what you're going to build?" And then the comments come in and tell me, "Oh, this is a little bit wrong, but you can do this." You know, "Oh, I love that photo etch," or "They've overdone that." You know, so I'm not forcing you to purchase an FX kit or a Revell kit or an Archer kit, but I'm giving you the opportunity to make that choice yourself, and that's a difference, isn't it? You know, so I said I think that gecko looks fantastic. You know,
Yeah.
from you know, and that's the thing. You know, there are other companies out there. If they do it, you do it yourself. So yeah. So there you are.
I think there's quite a lot of new releases this year that look really, really nice. You know?
Yeah. So Travis, I have the 2018 Tamiya Mark 1. That is a good kit though, isn't it? That I think that Mark 1, is it 48 scale? Is it 32? I can't remember now. 48, isn't it?
48.
It's the best 48 Spitfire out there, isn't it? You've built one, haven't you, Luke?
Yes, mate. Long time ago.
Cracking kit. I see somebody's building their Mosquito that they're never going to release again. Have you seen the prices for them on eBay now? Absolutely incredible. Around 200-300 quid mark. The 132nd scale Mosquito from Tamiya. They go for mega bucks. Just look down for there. I'm becoming more and more impressed with the branches out of China, Meng, AFV, and so on. Yeah, and I think that is going to be the battleground now. I think.
Me too.
I think that's going to be I think that, and remember, all tooling comes from China anyway, doesn't it? In theory, all tooling comes from China. Because they're the only country that manufactures tooling now. Don't think anybody else does, is there? Anyone else manufacture tooling?
Yeah. AFV Club might take exception because they're Taiwanese.
Yeah. Okay.
Republic of China.
Yeah. They're across this little straight
China
there.
I remember it wasn't that long ago in the 80s when every single toy I got was made in Taiwan. Yeah, Father Christmas moved there for a season. It was cheaper.
Or Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. Wow.
Yeah. How much stuff was made in Hong Kong written on the bottom?
Yeah. Hong Kong or Taiwan.
Do you remember that Japanese village that was forced to rename itself User so that they could put labels in their shirts made in USA? It's absolutely true, that.
Wow.
Asia and Eastern Europe are the new battlegrounds. I think Edard are pretty much there. Mini Art, overcomplicated.
I think ICM have come up. They pulled their trousers up recently.
I agree.
Yeah. But still, they're still a young company. They've still got more to do, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
You know,
their prices.
I think. I think pricing is something that you have to factor into your builds now. You have to. You know, there's always, like I think Luke, when you went last week to the Western Supermare show, you got a couple of bargains, didn't you, under the table?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I think when you're talking about battlegrounds as such, for the more traditional styrene kits, then absolutely sort of the Far East is where it's at because of their ability to manufacture tools, etc.
Yeah.
But there is a battleground emerging in other mediums. I won't mention it,
You
but there's a lot of that stuff coming out of Eastern Europe. Go and look at Scale X. Go and look at Scale 23. Go and look at all these manufacturers that are all based Eastern Europe way. That's Battleground, but for a different sort of medium.
But saying that though, Luke, it's I think, and as I said, that since we've been talking about this for weeks and weeks and weeks now about the 3D resin, the Battleground is not in the talent. It's as how well these printers are getting, aren't they? It's that the way printers now print, I think they've almost won in that respect.
And I think you need to define your Battleground. I mean, there's no doubt that the sort of major 3D printer manufacturers are doing more and more to try and increase the viability of their product. I think the Battleground sort of Eastern Europe way is more traditional. It's between companies that are vying for their stake in the market, if you like. The quality is not questionable from a lot of the main players. It's very much of a muchness. It's the subjects they choose, how quickly they're able to produce the product, etc., etc. I mean, you look at Scale X and Scale 23; they're polar opposites in their subject matter.
Yeah,
but the quality is just as good from both.
I understand that. And did you say that you now glue your 3D resin with resin and ultraviolet light, or do you still use super glue?
Yeah, UV clear resin.
UV clear resin. ACE train. ACE trains and models. The vintage classic range from Airfix is one of these areas I quite enjoy, as I was born in 2002. Most of the vintage classic kits were released in the 1980s. I'm getting to build. Yeah, I'm a 70s baby. I was building those kits, particularly Matchbox, and what I would call vintage classics in the 90s. And when they were bringing them back in 2000, I think it was 2019, I think they first started bringing back the vintage classics. And one of them was, and I did it on the channel actually, I built the JS3, the Joseph Stalin tank vintage classic. It's crap. It doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. The turret's all wrong.
Yeah.
But I actually built it and it came up really well. In fact, I think Wendy got that in the end and did some work on it for me to put into a diorama. She wanted to do a diorama for me. But you know, like we were talking, I wish it's like Tamiya could never put one of them tanks in a vintage sort of box in, because they're that good from back in the 70s. They're still good now, aren't they? You know, some of the tanks, you know, that Walker Bulldog, for instance, 1976 tooling, 73 tooling, still being sold now for just under 15 quid. You tell me that's not a good tank when you build it, you know?
Yeah, no one who's... I particularly looked at the videos that people made of those, and no one ever had a bad word to say about that kit.
No, they didn't.
Not a single bad word about it, you know?
But you know, yeah. The only thing they could do better is if they did a tool in of just some link and length tracks, because that's one thing that I think Nigel was saying to me. I can't remember who it was saying to me, because I've had so many phone calls this week. It's unbelievable. And we got onto the Chaffee. I think it was Nigel. I can't remember who it was. And they said that link and length track in the Chaffee is absolutely superb. And I said, well, I found that when I did the Jackson, the M41. The Lincoln Tamiya, I've got Lincoln length absolutely spot on with this. When I did the Marder one that won the competition the other week, I got a medal for that. Beautiful, just slips together. You can't. And that, see, we all talk about the battlegrounds, but has Tamiya won that battleground? Because if you see it out, if they say we're going to release this, how many of you here go and buy it straight away because it's Tamiya? No,
Not
or
necessarily.
maybe I'm talking wrong then.
No, unless it's my subject, I will do.
Yeah, but like
Yeah,
the
I mean-
Chaffees, everybody here bought the Chaffee, thinking,
Yeah,
oh,
I have.
okay. I bought the Chaffee. Did you buy the Chaffee, John? Alec?
No, I gotta tell you, I've never really been into U.S. armor. It's like the one genre that what I do now are like sort of wheeled fighting vehicles, really modern stuff. I've never built a Sherman.
Really?
Yeah, no. I've just never. I've never built an M60. I've never built an Abrams. I'm just not into American armor. So
There you go.
Yeah,
they look good. They look nice.
Yeah.
There's John's
You've built a lot.
subject.
Yeah. But you've done enough. You've done quite a few, haven't you, Luke, of the Tamiya armors kits?
Yeah, and I think these days I'm absolutely more or lean more towards subject rather than kit manufacturer. But I think it's difficult to explain it. But if you're new to the hobby and you want to build armor, and you want to build 35th armor,
Yeah.
or 48th, then Tamiya really is your go-to. But as your modeling journey progresses, should it progress, then you become more interested in the level of detail that you can achieve. You become more interested perhaps in subject matter rather than the ease of the build.
Yeah.
And therefore you're likely to start to steer away from Tamiya because although they're fantastically engineered model kits, no one can take that away from them. But quite often they do lack in detail.
Well, that's what Aubrey St. John's just said. Tamiya missed a trick by staying clear of any of interior kits, interior parts. Yeah, I get that. That's why people tend to sway on Ryefield models and mini art, I guess, because you get full interior.
And it's simple things like, you know, a fender on a tank. Well, if you're using a Tamiya kit, if you don't go down the aftermarket route, then, you know, potentially as your modeling journey increases, and I did it with the Tamiya T55A, where I wanted to depict that it had been struck by an RPG. So what you then have to do is delve into the realms of melting the plastic, bending it, putting some holes in it, etc., to try and replicate that. Whereas with other manufacturers, if you're using PE fenders, for example, that sort of process can become more, I wouldn't say it's easier, but there's a lot more you can do.
That's where Jim comes in, isn't it? Yeah. That's Jim's argument with PE, isn't it, Jim?
I mean, it's all in what you want at the end of the day. How big of a detail freak are you? You know, so I dabble in armor. I love getting the Voyager sets, but with the Voyager sets, you get the basic set, then you have to get the Fender set, and then you have to get, you know, they string everything together, and when they market it, they picture, okay, here it is, and it's got everything, and then you see all the sets that you need down in the corner, and you're kind of like, well, the Fenders are good enough in the kit, or this or that, you know, so you can gauge how far down the rabbit hole you want to go. A lot of armor guys live by, you know, the metal tracks because they're metal in real life, and metal fenders and scale thicknesses, but toolings are starting to get better. So, you know, it really is a to each his own, I think, thing, you know. But
it is absolutely that to each their own, and what you want to achieve out of whatever it is you're building. The caveat to that is quite often, if you're building a diorama, you want that flexibility to frame the vehicle in the environment you're trying to depict it in, which sometimes with a Tamiya kit, yes, it's going to go together flawlessly. Yes, it's going to look good, but you may struggle to depict it in a particular scenario.
Yeah, if you're going to crash a tank off the side of the road and you're going to have the fender just all mangled up, well, then PE is your friend there, because you can take that metal and you can work it, heat it, and work it to the way you think it's going to fold when it crashes into that ditch or whatever. Whereas you can't do that with plastic. It'll melt and go to goo, you know? So the material you're working with lends itself to what you're trying to execute at the very end, like Luke says. I mean, that's a perfect example.
Yeah. Mr. Doff just said then, swapping to be fixed Tamiya, mostly down to subject matter. However, more recently, I returned to Airfix due to the Cold War subject, i.e., Ferret, Stalwart, etc. And that was a good little gold mine for them.
For the serious modeler.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But yeah. But every model kit's a blank canvas, like Wendy's saying there. You know, but again, you are then, when it comes to mediums, I presume then if you wanted a bent fender and you had a plastic kit and you wanted to replace that, you could probably find a 3D printed version somewhere that has been bent and whatever. But
I've never seen. But okay, so then that goes back to our argument. Maybe let's say you do find a 3D printed bent fender. Well, that's the only one that's out there, you know. Yeah. Whereas if you want to make it your own, but let's say that damaged fender, you could put it on your model and you could put it in your diorama. But once you put it in the diorama, it doesn't look right because it's not. I mean, the fender's going up like this when it needs to go down and to the right, you know, because of the way the model's positioned in the diorama, you know. So that's why, you know.
And again, that comes down to the new skill set that's developing. So, for example, if you purchase the file for a T62A fender, 3D printed, if you have the right skill set, you can put that file through a CAD program and you can bend it and shape it in any which way you want. You can put holes in it and do whatever you want if you're skilled at CAD, and then you print it, and that will be unique. However, I don't have that skill set in CAD, so I can't do it. So therefore, I'm going to probably go down the PE route, or I'm going to bend some plastic card, or whatever it may be, because I know I can do that. I can't do that with CAD.
I think PE would be far more versatile for that.
It's a coat can.
There's ways of doing everything.
Yeah, but you can bend it in, you can bend it out, you can bend it round. You can do it a lot with PE.
You can, if you know how.
Well, so back to ship modeling. IP, not IT. So, you know, PE railing, the bane of every ship modeler's existence. You know, they gotta. It's a pain, right? Yeah. And so, is PE the best medium? Well, for a long time it was, because it looked more to scale. It was a pain in the ass to apply, but it looked good after you got it done, and hopefully you were able to execute it right. Now, there's people 3D printing the whole superstructure. I saw, I think it was a 700 scale Japanese Navy Tonei. The whole superstructure, the railing, it was all there, and you're just like, all you have to do is paint it. Okay, that could be problematic painting your deck in there, because I mean everything's so tight in there. But it's almost like now you're, I buy 3D stuff, all printed stuff all the time. But it's when you start getting to the point where you get 3 pieces and there's your model, and it's like, well, what fun is this, you know?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to you develop whatever skill set suits what you want to achieve as an end result.
Oh, absolutely.
So, for example, and it's a great if people go to the Squidmar channel on YouTube, he's a miniature painter. They're now doing a series, a weekly series, and it's a bit like Great British Bake Off, but for miniature. It's that sort of format. It's very well produced. It's very well, it's like watching mainstream TV. It's not like watching a YouTube channel. And they do a very, very similar competition to Bake Off. It's sponsored by Games Workshop. It's sponsored by Redgrass Gaming, etc., etc. So there's quite a lot of money involved in it. But each week they're given a different challenge. So, for example, week 1 they had 8 hours to paint a 32mm miniature. The week after it was to paint a bust. Well, there's different skill sets involved in each of those things. But some of them are more comfortable. Some of the contestants are more comfortable with bust painting than they were painting a 32mm miniature. Others were more comfortable painting a 32mm miniature than they were painting a bust because they've developed a skill set that's around what they want to achieve. But I would recommend it to anyone. Go and watch it because it's probably as close as scale modeling will ever get to mainstream media.
I'll have to watch that.
Good.
I'll have to watch that. It'd be good. Yeah. Right, folks. It's 9 minutes to 10.
Before you go, can I say something to the masses?
Yeah.
And I'm using this medium because more people will see this than they will see my channel or anything else. So I don't need to go into the massive details of as to why, but those that know me well know that many years ago, part of my job was jumping out of planes and jumping out of helicopters. And now I'm getting later in life, that's taken its toll on my legs and hips and everything else. So the likelihood is, from now really, if you see me at a show walking around, I'm likely to be walking with a stick. So to avoid any confusion, I know there's been people on YouTube in the past that have said he looks pissed. The reason I look pissed is because my balance is all to shit because of the problem with my knees. So I'm a little bit unsteady. It's got to a stage now where I need to use a stick. So that's why I've got a stick.
We're going to make for a hell of a pair in November.
Yeah. So there's no smoke and mirrors. There's no anything. I wouldn't change a minute of jumping out of aircraft because I fucking loved it. However, now I'm paying the price for it.
Blowing Hardy.
Wow.
Closest I ever got to that was being kicked out of a helicopter and shimmying down a rope.
Yeah.
That's the closest I got.
I could never quite see the point of jumping out of a perfectly serviceable aeroplane.
I don't think. I think it's more of what you were carrying, Luke, as well, when you were landing with all this stuff on your back.
Yeah. Well,
I know of. I'm not gonna. It's. I'm gonna walk across it, but yeah, your knees are. Yeah, you've got to look after your knees, definitely.
You missed them.
But yeah, sorry to hear that, Luke. But if anyone's got any AI designed walking sticks that Luke can have, just send them to his channel and so yeah.
But there's no smoke and mirrors, and it's just to avoid the inevitable rumor mill that generally starts. Yeah. That's why my legs are knackered. I need a stick. That's it.
Yeah. You can buy those sticks. Fair play to you, mate. If you need to.
I have a walking stick.
I normally, when I'm looking forwards, I miss you a lot of the time because of your height. I can look for the stick now. That'd be easier, wouldn't it? Yeah. Nah.
We're going to rent scooters.
Yeah.
Scooter wars.
Yeah. Any way of getting them repaired, Luke? Is there any repair jobs that they could do to your knees in the future? Because they'll get worse and worse, I guess, won't it?
No, not really, mate.
Oh, shame.
I reckon in 25 years, we might be able to 3D print a couple of joints.
Maybe.
Yeah. Can't design it, mate. Fair play. Well, you've heard it from the horse's mouth now, so no, he's got a stick. Everyone's got a cross to bear, and he's got a stick. So maybe Airfix will come out with a 1/35th scale motorized wheelchair or cane. Yeah, they could do. That'd be more close to what they want to aim for anyway. However, I'm going to call it a night anyway. We've had quite a really good debate tonight. Thanks to everyone in the chat who's chatted. Again, thank you, Jim. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, John Alec. Thank you, Zinzam, Joffy, Barry, and Luke. We'll be back in, I'm saying 2 weeks, 2 Mondays' time, maybe 3 Mondays' time. Then we just have a little break, little refresh. This will all change. And then hopefully there's a couple of videos coming out. But let me be, lads. Let me just let nature take its course. And then I'll hopefully be back in about 2 weeks. All right, gents? Thanks again for watching. See you in a couple of weeks. Ta-da, guys.
Bye.
Bye.